Welcome to MacroCode. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. So today we are going to proceed with our Blazor series. So we've been creating the students management system. So we have the students. We also have parents. We have teachers. We also have subjects, departments, and even library. So for library, you are able to issue books. You are able to create a new book, create a book with author, indicate the number of copies, and even select the book category. So when you save that, this record will be saved and you're able to see even the details. So the next thing is to issue a book. You can actually issue a book to students. So you select the issue date, you provide the date, you also provide the due date. This is when the book should be returned. You select the class and the students, and also the book type that you want to issue. Then you provide some notes. Then once you save, you should be able to see that it has the status issued, and you can actually return a book. So to return a book, you actually kind of click the button. You select the date that the book was returned. Then you can give more information. So you can say goods, good condition. The book was returned in a good condition. So once you have that condition, once you have that, you save. So the book will move from this section. You see we have now 3 entries here to the third entry, return books. So we have the returned books where you can see the issue date, the due date, student name, the book name, and the return date. So some of this information, as you can see for the students, you're able to tell the students details, but you can also tell the person who created. So then we have the countries. You're able to see the countries, so you can save a country within our system, and then the system codes and the code details. So what I want us to do today, I want us to add our academic here, where we will be tracking our academic years. So to do that, I want us to add another model. So I've actually kind of restructured our app now. We have our models on our client, on our WebAssembly. Then we have other things on there. So we have the pages and even the models here. So I want us to add another model. So if we just click add, we add another class, then we call that academic year. So let's just click that, then say academic year. Then for academic year, we'll need two things. We'll need some items. So for one of the property is the ID, which is our primary key. Then we have, we say the description or the name. Let's just call it academic year name. Then we can say, we can have the start. So this is the date, time. So the start date, we can have the start date, and you can have the end date of the academic year. So you can say end date. Then you can also indicate whether the academic year is running or not. So here we can say, we can have as status. Then here we can have it as an int. So then we can have this as the status to be a foreign key. So we'll have this as system code. Then this will be status ID. Then the other one will be our status. Then we can have, we can include notes. So let's just add notes. So we can have a notes, and this will be string. Then we also need to track the person who created and modified. So we'll inherit from the user modify activity, which will give us all the other fields. So after doing that, we need to add this to our application DB context. So we'll come to our data, then under application DB context, we include our, so we'll include this as a table. So I'll just copy that. Then I'll have my academic year here. Then these will be our table name will be academic years. So after we are done with that, what you can do is to now add migrations. So I'll just add migrations. So let me clear that. Then I'll say add migration, then academic year. So that is the name of our migration. Then press enter. Then if everything goes well, our migration file will be generated with all the changes that you want to effect to our database. Then for those who are new to this channel, consider subscribing, like the video. We notice most of you guys are watching our videos and you don't subscribe. Please subscribe and like the video. So our file has generated. So then we are going to now update the database. So we'll just do update database. So if you press that, it should be able to update our database, create a new table called academics, and with all the fields. So you can see everything is okay, and this is the command, create table with all these fields. So since we have that, I want us to go to the next part, whereby we are going to create the components to actually save our academic year. So to do that, I want us to go to our pages, create a folder. So let me just minimize this. I want us to minimize this. Then we need to create a folder here inside our pages called academic years. Then inside our academic years, we need to add a razor component to give us the list of academic years. So this one will be academic year list. So we'll say academic years list. Then once we have the academic years list, I'm going to borrow something from countries to help us get the list of academic years. So I'll just paste it here. Then I'm going to have these as academic years list. Then here we'll say this is academic years list. Then we can say add new academic year. So that is our button. So we'll actually link it to our add academic year section. But for now, let's just do that. Then for the academic year, we'll have our model here, academic year. Then we'll have these as academic years. Then our model will be academic year. And we'll have these as a academic year. Then we need to load all the academic years. So I'll say these load all academic years. Then these will be here. Then we need to get all our academic years. So what I want us to do before even proceeding and doing anything is I want us to create a service. So we need to create the repository for our academic year. So I'm going to create here a class. So it's actually an interface. Is AI academic year repository. Then when we press that, I'm going to copy one from our country. Then this one, I'm going to replace it here. Then this one, we are going to say academic year. Then you'll have these as academic year. We change all of this. So after modifying that, we need to implement this repository. So what we need to do is to create a service. I'm going to create a service, academic year repository service. Then I'm going to call it, so I'm going to call this academic year repository. And this should actually implement our, so this should actually implement academic repository. So that is it. Then I'm going to borrow all the aspect in all this in our country. and paste it in our academic year here. So if I just do that, then I'll be replacing only the academic year model. So this is academic year. Then I'll just be replacing academic year model here. Then I just do that. Then I can say this is data, this is academic years. Then we return data. Then the same thing to the rest. I'm going to do academic years. Then this should be data. This is data. Then I'm going to remove data from academic countries, academic years, I mean. Then this should be first or default. Then once we have that, we should return here data. You should also do the same for this should be academic year. Then we also, for the get all, we want to get the academic years, and we want to have that. We also have these as academic year, and this should be data. Then we have these as data. Then we have these as data. We also have these as data. We have these as data. Then we want to get academic years by country, by an ID, so we'll do that. Then for the update, we need to pass the academic year model. Then this we can say it's data. Then we updating academic years. Then we save and we return that. So if our model, if everything is okay, then we should not see any errors. So you can see we don't have anything. So after that, the next thing to do is to register it on our program.cs class. So I'm going to register that. So how I'll just do this, then say academic repository, then do that. Then that is it. Then I'm going to import this to our import razor. Then I'm going to have my inject the academic repository. So I'll say academic repository. Then this will be academic service. So since we have this now, when we go to our academics list, when we load all the academics, we should use now our academic service to get everything. And this will be data. To get this, we will loop through and actually now add it to our academic list. So since you have all of this, we can now loop through all the academics. So we'll say this will be academic years. So this will be academic years. So sorry. So we'll say loading academic years, and we are looping through the list of academic years and here. So for the academic year, what do we want to see? So I think we can be able to see the start date, end date. So we can say the name. We may want to see the name, then start date of the academic year, start date. Then we can see the end date, Then we can see is running. So this should be able to tell us if the academic year is active or not. So then we can actually see I think that will be fine. So we can have here the name. Then here we can say start date. Then we can have these as end date. Then we can have these as status. So we'll need the status, then we'll need the description. So for the status, then we'll now need to have edit, and for the delete, I think we will not be having delete. We can have two things. So we can have the delete. Yes, you can have the delete, and you can have another action, maybe to activate. So I'll just do here activate. So I'll just do activate. So for that, so we will need now to update our, so here if there are no lists, then we'll say there is no academic years list available. Then let's now add our Razor component to add the academic years. So this will be add academic year. So add academic year. And I'm going to use the add country Razor code. So I'll just copy that. Then here we'll say add academic year. So add academic year, then we'll say add new academic year. Then after that, let's just modify the code below. So this will be our academic year. Then we need to define our academic year object, then that is the user ID. This is okay. Then for create, we need to say create academic year. So then for the object here, the academic object, we need to specify that we are using the academic. Then for the service, we are using academic service. Then this one, we need to navigate it back to our list after adding. So we should take the navigation page for this, should be academic years list, and we should specify it here. So once we specify that, we should be able now to add our academic year details. So if I just go back to our on validate submit, we use the create academic year, then our object will be using now the academic object, and this is add academic details. So that is our form name. So the first thing to start with will be the academic year. So we'll just put in there. Then this should be the name of the academic year. So I'll just do that. This should be the name, and this is the name. Then the next thing is the start date of that academic year. Then I can have the start date here. Then I can also do start date. So start date, and this should be start date. But now we want this to be date, so we'll do input date. Do the same for the end date. So we'll just do here end date. Then this will be end date. We'll specify our end date there. So this should be end date as well. This is also end date. Then the next thing is also to provide, let's check on our model what we have defined. So on our model, we need the start date, name, status, and the notes. So we need to provide the notes. So the status will actually append the status in the background. So this will have the notes, and this is, sorry. So this is the notes. Then we have here the notes. This is the notes. We have the notes here. And this is input text. Input text area. You can call this input text area. Then after that, we need to save academic year. So after we've done that, our academic year is there. Then you should be good to save the data. So, but before doing anything, I want us to, so I'll just remove this. I want us to add another. So this add academic year on our list, we should specify that when you click add new academic year, this is the page that it should navigate to. So we have a new academic year and it should take us here. So let's add edit. So let's add an edit component. So we'll say edit academic year. So we'll just do academic year. Sorry. Academic year. So after that, I'll copy the one for edit country, but we'll reuse some of the details that we have. So what we have at the top here, so we'll say this is academic year. So we are navigating to academic year, edit, and this is we pass an ID. Then this will be update academic year details. Then below here, we should now say update academic year. Then for the object, we are using our academic year object. So I'll just copy, let me just copy what we have here because we'll be using most of it. So I'll just do that. Then for the form, I'm going to reuse these edit form. So I'll just copy all of it, then come to edit, and I'm going to minimize this and paste it here. So we'll have all our data. Then the only thing that we need to change is our academic object. We should be using our academic object. So we need to load first. We load our academic year that we want to edit based on the ID. So then the service that we are using is the academic year service. Then we get by an ID, and this ID is the parameter that we have it here. Then we need to load it. So once we load it, once you click update, we need also to modify the modified by and modified on. Then we need to call the update method from the academic service. Then once that is updated, we need to navigate back to our academic year list. So this is our list, our route. So we should get back to that. Then so this academic, so this should be academic year. So once we have this academic year, we should update it here at the top. So this is what should happen. Then this should be update. Then since we have that, we should be good to go. So that is okay. So this is models. Then this is the list. Let's check these. Yes. So here we should have the academic year dot ID, then the name, then this should be start date, end date, and you have the status. So you should actually begin with the namings of your Razor components. Then this should be academic, this is academic, and this is academic. So when you click edit, it will take us to now academic, edit academic year. And we should be in a good position now to modify our data. So let's clean our project and see. So this is academic year. That's okay. So let's just edit, rebuild. We see if there is anything wrong with our code. So if you are new to this channel, consider subscribing, like the video, and comment down below. So on our edit academic year, we have the name update country. So where is it? So update academic year. Yes, so I don't think there is anything like that here. Yeah, I think I've seen the issue. So if you go to edit academic year, we were using the academic year object, and here we were passing the country object. So that is it. That's the challenge now, copying the code. So if we just go and rebuild again, you should be good to go. You can see it's also still failing. So let's just check where the issue is. Cannot convert an int to string. So where is that? Yes, I think we have an issue. So on the name, we actually specify the name as int. This should be string. So we need to rectify that. And we have now to update our database. So we'll have to run a migration. So we say add migration, then updated academic details. So if we press enter, then our migration file should be generated, and we should be in a good position to now update the database. So let's wait and see. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing, like the video, and comment down below. So we'll just do update database, press enter, and our table will be modified. So let's just wait and see. There we go. Everything is okay. So if we just rebuild our app now, we should be fine. So let's just see. There we go. So everything is building. Then we are good. So everything is fine. So, but now we need to have our navigation page. That is the link to our academics linked to the, so I want us to categorize our application. We introduce another submodule. We call that submodule administrators. So I'll call these system settings. Then I'll call these system administration. So for the system settings, I'll have the country, system codes, and the system code details. Then this one I want to have now all the things linked to the administration of the system. So one of them that we are going to have here is the academic year. Academic year. So we'll have the academic year. Then we need to navigate to the list of the academic years before even doing anything. So I'll just go to so I'll just copy that. Then to our nav menu, we'll add that link. Then I'm going to remove this. So we'll have our academic year. So we'll say academic years, which will take us to the list. So if we just launch the app, we should now be able to view the academic years and add a new academic year. So let's just see how our app looks like. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to our channel. Comment down below in case you need something from this application. So we'll be enhancing this application as we go along. So we're able to log in now. Admin at 1. Then I'm going to log in. So if we log into the application, it takes us to the dashboard. Then we now have the system settings and the system administration. So for the academic year, if we click on it, it takes us to the academic years list. So if we add new academic year, we should say 2023-2024 academic year. Then we should actually state the date. Maybe it's January 1st, 2024, and it should end in 2024. Then we can say April. So then the notes, you can say this is, you can say 20. So you can have 2023, 2024 academic year. So if we do that, we should save our academic year. So there is something wrong. The academic year has not been saved. So why is it? So let's go to our add academic year. I want us to check something. For our add academic year, we need to ensure that our academic year service is being added. So if we go to our service, let's go to our service. I want us to can actually put a breakpoint here, then go to our service for academic year. Then on our academic year, we should actually check if everything goes on here. So if we go back, try to add, say 2024, this is 2024, and this is April. So if we have our notes, 2023, 2024 academic year. Sorry, so this should be academic year. So if we click save, we should be able to see our object here, how it looks like. So we have our created by and created on, end date, we have our name, notes, and we have our start date. So what is the issue? So if we proceed, we should get our model here with all the data. So if we proceed again and save, there is an issue with did we update our database? Let's just confirm that we updated our database. There we go. So let me just launch our database. We see what is happening. So if we connect, I want us to see our tables. So these are students Blazor app. Then if we go there, we should be able to see so where is our academic years here? So our academic year, you'll be able to see, you check if there's something being saved. You see there is nothing being saved. So we have our modified on, modified by notes, and the status ID. So there's something we missed. So the status ID. So we need to actually get the status of the academic year. So when saving, the same thing we did with the book issuance. You see, this is the status that we actually added to our academic, our book issuance. So when we add, we should be able to have an active status. So we'll say active status. We have then we can say academic year status. So this will be our system codes. Then you can say this is active. So we need to have our academic year with status. So we were missing that. So we need to update our status ID. Then we assign it to our active status. So we'll say active status.id. So since we have now that, we need to create this. So we are going to launch our app. So I'll remove the breakpoint. So if I launch our app, we should be able to do two things: create our status and now initiate a new record as an academic year. So let's just launch our app and see. So there we go. So here I'll just log in. Then we need to create our status for our academic year. So every academic year record that we create should have a status. So you'll need to create a system code with our academic year status. Then if I save it, I should be able to see that in our academic year here. Then I also need to kind of have our system codes. So the code should be active, and this is active. Then it should be tied to academic year status. Then I should also create another one called inactive. Then I can have it here. Then I'll say academic year and save it. So if we go back to our academic years and click add new, we can do the same here. Then we have the 2024 and this is 04. Then we can say 2023 academic year. So this should be 2023-2024 academic year. 2024 academic year. So if I click save, we should check if everything also is fine. So let's check on our academic year. Here, check again. So if we click add new, same thing. 2024, this is 2024 04, and we have academic, say 2023 2024 academic year. Then if I click save, I should get my data here, which is okay. Then what I need to confirm is our status ID. So if I just proceed, do we have our status here? Yes, it's getting the active status and the ID is that. Then we have the system code. So if I assign that, I should now be able to save my data. So let's just confirm if everything is being saved here. You see, our data is being saved. So what is the issue? The issue is now retrieving our records. So if we go that way, you see we are getting an error here. So when we get on our academic repository, for the get all method here, we should actually include our status. So that is it. So if we stop and relaunch our app, we should now get the two records that we've just saved. So you see all these two records, we should get it from our list. So you see we have the academic year, we have the start date, end date, and we also have the status and the notes. So let's just log in, then see what will happen. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing, like the video, and comment down below. So I'll just log into our system, admin. Then if I just log in and go to our academics, we should be able to get the list of, you see, we have the list of the academic years that we've just done. So we have the is running, then we need to have another button, another row here for our page, for academic years list. So here we should say delete, then we should have activate. So we do activate, then here we can do anything, another color, then I apply that changes. So if we do that, let's go back to our app. If the changes applies, it will refresh. There we go. So you see it is now activate. So if we click edit, it should take us to the edit screen. You see the update academic year details, and we have the academic year and the details that we saved. So if we update it, it will update our academic year. So I want us to do something for this. So activate and deactivate. So if you see here, this is active. So we don't have to activate something that is active. So we need to have a deactivate if it's active. So what I want us to do here, I want us to say if we say academic, so you say academic dot status dot code. So if academic dot status is equals to active, then I want us to show this. So if that is active, I want us to show that, else if it's not active, we can deactivate. So I want us to have this. So actually we can have just one. So let's just have this table row, table data, but we can have this control inside here. So can have that. Then I'm going to close it here. Then else, if it's not active, we can now say this is else. Then you can copy this and you can have this as deactivate. So this is deactivate. So if we do that, and this should be, so this will be success. So it should look like kind of green. So this, if it's active, this should be deactivate. So we can say this is warning. So this should be deactivate. Deactivate. Then this should be activate. So if it's deactivated, we should activate. And then this should be can have it as primary. So if we apply these changes, we should be able to see changes in our buttons. So you see deactivate because these statuses are active. So that should be active. But if it's inactive, we should actually activate. So we are going to leave it at that point for today. So on our next video, we'll be announcing this. So if you are new to this channel, consider subscribing, like the video, comment down below, and see you in our next video. Bye.